Hey y'all, when I tell you these short ribs were fall off the bone good, oh my god, had me out here dancing, y'all. Make sure you like and subscribe below. But now let's get into this recipe. So we're going to take about 3 pounds of short ribs and pour 2 cups of your favorite red wine over those ribs. You want a wine that is bold and full of body. I use a Cab that works best for me, but you could use a Pinot or whatever you like best. I end up putting them in a shallow pan and put them in the fridge to marinate for 24 hours. You should notice how the red wine has been soaked into these ribs. Now we want to pour out that red wine and thoroughly dry your ribs. You want them to be completely dry so that they can crisp up really well when we sear them off on the saute mode. Now we're going to add a generous amount of salt and pepper to all of the sides of the ribs. In your pressure cooker, like a Ninja or an Instapot, you want to set it to the saute function. If you don't have that function, you can just do this over the stove top. But we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of oil. I like to use avocado oil because it has a high smoking point. Now let's sear off our short ribs on all 6 sides in batches. While that's searing, we're going to go ahead and prepare our veggies. We're going to chop up 1 onion. Chop that up into bite-sized pieces so that they're around the same size. Now we'll chop up 3 carrots. I try to keep them fairly thick so that they don't get too mushy while we're cooking them and they fall apart. Now we're going to chop up 3 stalks of celery. So I'm going to chop off the ends and get rid of that. And I like to cut my celery into 3 to 4 sections, and then I chop them up. That gives me some nice sections that are around the same size, which is what you really want when you're cooking dishes like this. Now that we have all of our veggies chopped up, we're going to move back to our short ribs. This is what we should get when we cook all of the sides. We're going to take those short ribs out and add in our veggies, just as the pan is. So we'll saute our veggies until the onions are a bit translucent, about 4 to 5 minutes. You don't want to cook them for too long because we don't want those carrots to get mushy during this process. We'll add in about a ½ cup of red wine to help deglaze the pan and get all of those yummy bits off the bottom of the pan. We're going to also add in a tablespoon of tomato sauce and mix all that together and allow for that red wine to cook off and reduce down. This is what it should look like once it's all reduced after about a minute or so. And we're going to keep cooking that down and add in now 4 cups of beef broth to that. Now let's add some salt and pepper to taste. Make sure you are tasting to make sure that your flavors are just the way you want them. Now let's add back in our short ribs. I added some dried parsley. You can use fresh, I just didn't have any. We're going to also add in a few sprigs of fresh thyme, some rosemary, 4 to 5 cloves of crushed garlic, and of course some bay leaves. We're going to pressure cook this for 45 minutes and then slow release it for 10. This is what it will look like once it's ready. It already looks so good, y'all. But we're going to take out these short ribs and we're going to skim off some of that fat out of the pot. I used just a large spoon to skim off the fat. I ended up picking up the pot and tilting it to the side a bit so that I had a good angle so that I can get a lot of that oil out. Turn back on your saute function and add in a cornstarch slurry, which is 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, about 1/4 cup of water, and stir that up. Now we're going to add our short ribs back to the pot. This looks so good. This is what we end up with. It's juicy, fall off the bone short ribs. Y'all look at that. It looks so good. You can take this and add it over a bed of rice, potatoes, whatever you like. I used potatoes here. You can use whatever you like. Take this recipe and enjoy it.